Hello family and friends, thank you for taking the time to watch my video on my trip to Africa. I know it's been a while since I've returned home, but I figure better late than never in sharing my experiences in my video that I took while I was over there. Just to recap, it was August of 2010 that I hopped on a plane and headed to Africa by myself for the summer. And I think there's something that happens to a person when they travel across a continent, especially when that continent is Africa. Although it's a land of a lot of poverty and a lot of need, it's also made up of some of the most resilient and joyful and beautiful people that I've ever met. And I can honestly say that my life has not been the same since my trip to Africa. I went to Africa to complete my internship for my intercultural studies degree at Columbia International University. And my goal while I was there was just to learn from the people, to learn from the culture, and just to learn the lessons that God wanted to teach me during my trip. So here's a little bit of what I saw and what I did. I hope you enjoy. When I got to Zambia, I joined up with a Christian missions organization called Operation Mobilization. Although I traveled to Zambia alone, I met up with several other Americans who were there for the summer, as well as a diverse group from all over the world that makes up OM. One of OM's goals in Zambia is to raise up African missionaries to reach other Africans. They do this through their discipleship and training school. I spent the majority of my time in Zambia at the school, with the students studying there for the semester. I lived with them, ate with them, and did ministry with them. In the morning I might help with something around the base, such as writing a video script for the media team. In the afternoons we would do ministry in the community, whether praying for people at hospitals or spending time with kids at a local orphanage. I think one of my favorite days was when we rode bikes to a distant village to encourage some local believers.
Just
remember me?
Yeah.
We had some bike trouble on the way, and a crowd quickly formed. The kids proceeded to chase us for several miles until we reached our destination. Then they stayed for the Bible study and sang for us too. This is what happens when you're a Mzungu, aka a white person in the village. People tend to follow you. What's that? Fine, how are you? A few weeks of my trip was spent in a small town called Mpumalanga, which lies right along the border of Africa's largest lake, Lake Tanganyika. One of my projects here was to create a video for the orphanage that the OM base runs here. You can check that out on the CVD too. Another goal of the OM base here is reaching out to the people of the villages which line the shore of the lake. So one weekend we hopped on a little wooden boat for 2 hours and visited a village called Tongwa. Many of the people in these villages have never seen a car or even a bike before. It has been said that the amount of information a villager receives in his entire lifetime is equal to our daily newspaper. African missionaries are going into these villages and living among the people in order not only to share the gospel, but help them with their physical needs as well. The villages seem to be full of hardships, from lack of education to malnutrition to broken families. But missionaries are seeing the spiritual, social, and physical fruit that happens when Jesus' truth shines into people's hearts. New believers in Tongwa have begun their own church and are going out into the nearby villages to share the message too. When I visited one of these villages, I got to know a missionary named Lewis. He graduated from the OM Training and Discipleship School and then went on the mission field to the village of Tongwa. Lewis has sacrificially lived and served among the village of Tongwa for the past 3 years. Although the people thought he was going to steal their kids and use them for witchcraft when he first arrived in the village, Lewis slowly gained trust and acceptance in the community. I included his story on this DVD because it's something you have to hear for yourself. Lewis was and still is a huge impact on my life. He really challenged me to think about how I can bless others with all that God has given me. Lewis told me something one day in the village that hit me hard. He said that it is what I do when I get home that really shows what I've learned. I can honestly say the lessons I learned that summer have stuck with me till this very day. I'm constantly reminded how much I have been given in comparison with the world, and thinking of ways I can use the gifts I have, whether it's my education, my money, my talents, my relationships, to invest in the lives of my brothers and sisters globally. My experience in Africa embedded this truth in my heart. To whom much is given, much is required. I am so grateful for all God has given me, and so excited to use each day of my life to be able to bless others here and around the world.
This is what I get to do, and it's awesome.
So that was a little bit about my trip. Zambia was really just confirmation to me that I sense God leading me overseas long term. I'm still not sure about where or when or with who I'm gonna go with, but I'm just praying about it constantly and just waiting for God to give me the green light to go. But while I'm at home, I know that I can still be a bridge. I can tell the stories of those that I've seen and what I've seen with those who are still here. So on this DVD, I've included some of the interview I took with Lewis while I was there, just so that you can hear about what God's doing globally as Africans reach Africans with the good news of Christ. And then pray about how you can be a part of it too. I could go on and on to describe the incredible people I met while I was there, to describe the spiritual dynamics of this country and how it's completely different from the U.S., and just to describe the poverty and the need that I saw. But if a picture is worth 1,000 words, then hopefully this video is worth 1,000,000. I also want to say thank you so much to those of you who gave sacrificially to support me, who wrote me and prayed for me and encouraged me. It meant so much to me, and I really couldn't have done it without you, so thank you so much. I hope that if you haven't already, that one day you too will get the chance to travel to Zambia or to Africa, and don't be surprised if, like me, you end up leaving a piece of your heart there. Thanks again for watching this and taking the time. May God bless you and use you to make His name higher every day, whether we're in the U.S. or off in some random and wild country. Thanks again. Sayonara.
Here we are in the village. This is about as African as it gets. I feel like I'm in a movie.
Come on. Yeah, that like that. Yes.
Okay, I'm tired.
Gross. Say hi, Emily. Everybody's busy at work.
Guess what? There's more grace somewhere. Now look at the window. And this is the monster that I see. I don't know if you can tell how big that thing is, but it's staring right at me.